Hey folks, Paul Essery here, and I'm delighted today to be with Marion Stewart from Red Helix. Marion, I know that you're super busy at the moment. You've got lots on your plate, lots to keep you busy, which is a good thing, of course. But I really appreciate you taking some time out to come and tell us about what you're doing, because you're doing something that I think is really important, particularly at the moment with all the kind of threats that people face in terms of the cyber world, if you like. So thank you for coming and telling us a bit about yourself. I mean, just to kick things off for folks, tell us a bit about yourself and tell us a bit about the Red Helix business.
Sure. So I've been in the tech industry for over 30 years. Started in IT managed services, spanned into data centers, and then we didn't call it cybersecurity, but obviously when you're in data centers and IT, security was inherent within that. So I've had a very long and fruitful career in that. And I joined Red Helix 2 years ago. As a company, Red Helix we celebrate our 40th anniversary this year, actually, which is fantastic. And really our mantra and our mission is to stop cybercrime paying. I think we've seen, and everyone will have seen in the news, a huge increase in cybercrime and how it's reported. And really Red Helix's position in the market is to help UK businesses not fall foul of cybercrime and cyber criminals extorting money from them. It's a huge cost to our economy. It's a huge cost to people personally in small businesses in particular. And really our role in the market is to try and do as much as we can to help those types of businesses protect themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty worrying agenda, isn't it? Really, the whole thing, and it seems to be getting worse.
It really is. And, I think generally people view it as there's a lot in the media about state-sponsored cybercrime. And I think a lot of people and a lot of businesses and leaders in businesses think, well, why would I be, or why would my company be a target for state-sponsored crime? And the reality is, while that is going on, that there is undoubtedly an element of state-sponsored targeting of cybercrime. They tend to be targeted at large critical national infrastructure or government or healthcare. It's the headline hitting companies that they will target. Just as prevalent, but is much less talked about, is the organized crime groups that sit behind targeting mid-sized companies. And their premise is not to discredit companies. It is very much to extort money from them. And they don't target, Joe Blogg's law firm in London. They will be scanning to see where they can find any vulnerability. And when they find the vulnerability, they then exploit it. And then that's when you start to see cash demands and ransomware, things like that coming against small businesses. So I think there is an increase, but it comes from two different sources. And we talk a lot about the state-sponsored, but we don't talk enough about the organised crime efforts in extorting cash out of UK companies.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a bit about the tech, but more importantly, why your tech help, or how it helps people and how it changes things for people, because it makes quite a significant difference, I think, doesn't it?
Sure. I think making technology easy to consume and affordable for small and mid-sized businesses is really important. And with us in Red Helix, we use industry-leading technology that is integrated for seamless delivery. So companies don't need to navigate very complex tooling, very complex in how you integrate all of that so you can make sense of what it's telling you. We undertake all of that complexity, so we take it out of their hands. And in offering that level of protection to small and mid-sized businesses, our aim is really to make that accessible and affordable. So the level of cyber protection that is often thought about in the large national infrastructure companies or really big enterprises, we want to make similar technologies available, and in fact that's what we bring to the market, is similar levels of protection to small and mid-sized businesses in the UK, so that they can consume that as a service without having to navigate a really complex landscape. I think the second thing that we do is driving educational awareness and cultural change in organizations, really embedding or helping companies to embed security at the heart of their culture, no matter what size it is, whether it's a 1, 2, 3 person business or a 500 person business. Everyone in that business needs to understand how to protect the company's assets. And a lot of exploitations have come about because people haven't known that, and they've clicked on the link or they've opened the email, etc. So there's some very simple things that organizations can do, and we help companies to achieve that. And I think, I mentioned earlier, we're a company that celebrates 40 years this year. Bringing that experience to bear in a way that is commercially sensible. One of the things I hear from a lot of companies we speak to is, well, we can't possibly afford all of that technology and the skills to operate it, etc., etc. We've built quite a commercially innovative model where businesses, there are very limited upfront costs to consume the service. So it removes a barrier to entry. And I think there's 2 barriers to entry for companies. One is cost and the other is skill. And we take care of both of that with the services that we provide.
Yeah. It's a great rule of thumb, isn't it? If you want people to do things, make it easy for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you've come a long way, and I know, you've got big ambitions, but tell us a bit about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome to get to where you're at now. That seems to me that you've had a bit of a journey recently. Tell us a bit about that.
Definitely. I think there's a few things. I think language and in the industry is very complex. You have a lot of acronyms, a lot of specialist terms, and I think that makes it really difficult to comprehend what are some quite straightforward concepts, actually. And so running a campaign of using plain English when we talk about cyber is something we've really championed in Red Helix. And when we talk about multi-vendor tech, people think, so what? But actually, if we think about tsunami warning systems, it's a great synonym for security warning systems, right? One of your controls or sensors might tell you, there's some strong winds over there. In its own right, that doesn't mean anything other than there's a strong wind coming. But actually, if you aggregate that warning with lots of other warnings that are coming from different platforms, and you have intelligence, AI, that can make sense of that, and it says, actually, with all of those conditions met, there is a tsunami coming. In the security world, the way Red Helix operates that is all of those controls feed in, and our systems will tell us there is a threat. You need to go hunt that threat down and shut it down. So I think the challenges in language and how we explain what we do as an industry is something that is evolving and really needs a lot more work. I mentioned AI, artificial intelligence there. That is becoming a big challenge in cybersecurity. And it's a double-edged sword, really. The bad actors are using it to create more sophisticated ways of breaking into infrastructures or technology to exploit. But on the other hand, a lot of the security defense technology are also using artificial intelligence to counter some of that. So it's almost becoming like the arms race in artificial intelligence to say which side is winning, and how do the cause for good stay ahead of the nefarious acts. And some of the recent deep fakes that you read about, the AI hasn't kept pace with detecting that yet. So I think there's a lot still to come, and that's a big challenge, I think, for the industry, is to continue to keep ahead of some of those developments. And I think the other challenge is that it is a lot of fear factor and fudge in the reporting. And actually, I think we need to, as an industry, we need to cut through this and just talk openly about what we're experiencing, what we're seeing, in very simple terms, so it's easy to understand. I think a lot of breaches get swept under the carpet, and aren't talked about. So as an industry, we're not always learning from them. And so I think we need to, we really need to think about how we overcome that challenge.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be getting on with there, isn't there? I mean, there's plenty. I mean, you're not going to be bored.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Right.
I think as an industry, it's continuing to evolve at a very, very fast pace. And one of the things challenges, I think it's true in all aspects of the tech sector, but attracting and retaining skills in cyber is something that is really critical. And there are lots of schemes, apprenticeship degrees, etc., to try and help make it more attractive for young people to come into as a career choice.
Yeah, and if you don't get the people, you will have problems. So it's a really important aspect.
Without question, we talk about, I know, again, you get some sensational headlines that AI are going to take our jobs. It's just not true. People in the human brain are absolutely necessary in terms of some of the analytics and defense and threat hunting. And in cyber, the need for that is only going to grow.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, you've come a long way. I mean, tell us where you're going. I mean, what are your plans for the business? I know you've got big ambitions. I mean, tell us a bit about where you're going with the business, let's say over the next 4 or 5 years.
Sure. I mean, my aspiration for our brand is to become synonymous with the protection that we bring our clients. And with that, ensuring our clients can continue their success. I'm very keen to continue to grow awareness of Red Helix. I'm very keen to grow our business as CEO. The fiscal growth is important. I think having our clients say great things about us, also being PE backed, fast growth is important for our investors, and that will come both through organic growth, word of mouth spreading through our customers, bring us lots of business. We've got long-standing, 15-year plus relationships with many of our clients, which is fantastic. But also acquisitive growth. I think the security sector is very fragmented. And I think we will, over the next 3 to 4 years, see a number of roll-ups of some of the smaller companies, and ideally Red Helix will be ahead of some of that.
Cool. Well, I mean, good luck with that. I mean, I think all the issues you've flagged up are absolutely pertinent, and I know lots of other business people that are really sort of wondering about how the cybersecurity thing is going to unfold, because it appears to everyone that the threats are only going to get worse. So that means the defense mechanisms need to be better, don't they? So
absolutely.
I mean, absolutely. I don't think you're going to be bored. So
definitely not.
Well, thank you for giving us a bit of your time. Thank you for talking about that. I mean, it's a really important area. And I mean, perhaps come back in a year or two and let us know how you're getting on.
Fantastic. Sounds great, Paul. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Marion. Bye-bye.
Bye.